Hello, golf fanatics. Billy Ho is here for the preview and research show for the 2025 Mexico Open. Today, we are going to get into that golf course, Vidanta Vallarta, and look at the skills needed to play. This is going to be year 4 of the course. So we've got a decent sample size on what it takes. And those of you in the community probably already know the basics of it, but we'll go over a few things hopefully we'll hit on that you may not have been aware of that you need to play well at this golf course. So hit that subscribe button for me, smash that like, and Viva Mexico. Let's go. Vedanta, it's a long course, par 71, playing at 7,456 yards, wide open fairways. I believe we still have, even though it's a par 71, I think we still have 4 par 5s, huge greens, past Palom. It's just the tropical Mexico vacation resort course type thing. So the greens do typically run a bit firm and fast. Subtle breaks and undulations that does test your putting. So it's not just like super easy. Like most resort courses, it's full of scoring potential. And you have 5 par 3s. So par 3 scoring will come into play. 4 par 5s, 3 of which are, I believe, on the back nine. So you only see one on the front. Bombers heavy is what everybody wants to talk about. We'll try to hit on that, plus a few other things. Your 3 winners have been Jon Rahm, Tony Finau, last year's new guy, Jake Knapp, all of which are big hitters off the tee. So that makes a lot of sense. Water in play on 13 holes, so you can get wet if you're not sharp. Teeing off of number 1 could cause you, there's 4 lengthy par 4s to start and a tough par 3. So a little slow underway, but then you start attacking after that tough par 3 on the back half of the front nine. And you got the par 5, the drivable par 4. 8 and 9 do play over par. So you got to be careful with those. Hole 10's the toughest. So then you get into more easier, slightly easier above par. 15 through 17 are kind of tough. Then you have 18, full half stroke. So, steady Eddie course, you just need to attack the holes. If you go low on the easy holes, that's where you get to your 17 to 20 under, like our previous winners have had. So, let's jump into Fantasy National and look at some modeling. Hello, Billy Ho here. As the sole creator for this channel, I need you, the viewer, to help me grow. Just by subscribing to the channel and clicking that like button alone, you can help spread Billy Ho Sports to the racing community on YouTube. So here is our first model, and it's just our basic Mexico Open model from a couple years ago that I threw in some tweaks on. So this is your pricing. DraftKings pricing is out, by the way. So the Billy Ho contest is live. Make sure you jump in there for me. And you can see here's your top priced guys: Akshay, Kurt Kitayama, and Rasmus Hogard. I guess the algorithm just didn't have any idea where to price these guys. I mean, obviously, after last week's performance, Patrick Rogers should have been 10K up. I would say he is going to be probably your most popular guy on the golf course. So going back, you had Knapp at 19, Finau at 24, Rahm at 17. So I put it closer to the 17 to 20 range than I do the 24 range. I think that Finau just but to go off of those 3, here's how they did it. So Knapp last year, 11th off the tee, first approach, then tee to green first. I think tee to green is what I noticed because tee to green was first for Knapp, first for Finau, and tee to green was third for Rahm. Approach big time. obviously, but strokes gained off the tee, Rahm was second, Finau was second, Knapp was 11th. So you obviously have to gain off the tee. So ball striking is huge, but the tee to green game does seem to be what gets it done there. So you have your ball striking, then you have a little bit of just a touch of around the green game in there. And like Knapp was 17th in putting, Finau was eighth, and 18th for Rom. So you don't necessarily have to be super lights out on the greens. You just need to make enough birdies, obviously. Driving distance is the key, Bomber's Paradise, but players can dial it up. Even the longest guys don't. Even the shorter guys will get an extra 10 yards off these wide open fairways. So Knapp stats were lights out, obviously on approach, but not wedges. Knapp was fifth from 125, I believe, from 125 to 150. Second from 175 to 200. The fifth on the threes. This is what I wanted to show you guys right here was Vallarta. So here's your model for the last 3 years, kind of a course history model. You can see Jaeger's number one, Rogers number two, Van Rooyen number three, Akshay four, Toasty five. Here's your tournament history. And you can see I'm just going from last year's model so we can get a good idea. Uh, because we won't have the big time players like there's no Finau, there's no Rom. Players like that are not in the tournament this week. So if we start with Knapp's victory last year, you can see Valimaki was second. I like Sammy Valimaki. Jaeger ranks out very well here, but he's not under the best form right now. So there are decisions to be made. That's for sure. CT Pan showed up here last year, but here's Patrick Rogers, obviously the sixth, the 10th, and the 10th. And I actually looked at my notes last year, and I was critical of Patrick Rogers because people play him a lot. He's like a darling in the DFS community, but he never really does win. Last week was probably as close as he's been to winning a major tournament in his entire career. He did fall just a bit short, but like on a course like this, he's been T6, T10, and solo 10th in the 3 years it's been here at Vallarta. So with his form coming in, very popular play, obviously. One of the things that's going to be a little sneakier for you guys is the par three scoring. This is 175 to 200. And you can see uh, who's ranking out high there. You can see how well Knapp ranked out because he played so well. Patrick Rogers ranks out very high there. And then there's a few other guys in here. Sig is a guy that you could look at. Not always Ben Coles, not always guys that bomb it off the tee, but can get it done. So driving distance. Obviously, Will Gordon's a guy that I actually touted a couple weeks ago that showed up. He's a guy that hits it long. Maybe he can finally put something together here. You definitely want to look at Knapp again. Griffin is another guy. Obviously, all these guys are super long off the tee. Toasty, Roy, Matty Schmid. But don't get fooled into that. What you want is more of strokes gained off the tee. So here's the guys, last 24 rounds, how they rank out in par three scoring from 175 to 200, because that's kind of where most of the par three scoring is. That's where a lot of your approach shots are going to come from. So I thought that was a pretty good distance to dial out here. You can see guys like Bo Hostler is a guy that I might be interested in. Nikolai Hogard is another guy. I want to see guys that line up. I don't want to just pick a guy because he's maybe good at that distance period. You can also line it up with the proximity numbers from the same. You can see number one there in that proximity range and seven. Those two match up pretty good. 15 and 9 for Rosner. Gee, these are just guys I'm gonna look at. So those two guys line up further down. 12 and 18 for Putnam. He's played better recently. Uh, Thornberry, I don't think so. Joel Damon, maybe. Matthew McCarty, another guy you could probably look at, young hitter. But that's kind of how I'm going to be looking through there. There's Carson Young. You see how good he is from those distances. He's definitely going in a pool. He doesn't murder it off the tee, but he's so accurate. He gains even here on a Bomber's Paradise. He gained 2, 3 strokes to the field off the tee just by accuracy alone. So that's how he gets it done. Well, it's going to be very important to identify the types of guys that hit bonuses. Your streaks, your 3 birdie streaks, your bogey free streaks, because you're going to see both of those. And probably a decent chance the all under 70 bonus for players as well. So I'm going to do some diving into that later on in the week and see what I can come up with. You follow me on X at Billy Ho Sports. I may post something about that or at least try to find the information for you. But there are others. Uh, we could go back to last Sunday. Mav McNeely nearly went ham Sunday to win the Genesis. He's actively improved his driving. I think he's got more ball speed. I think I read an article about him using hockey. He has a hockey background, so he's been using the old Happy Gilmore slap shot to try to get his driving distance up there, but he's always dangerous on the greens. But he played so well last Sunday, and he got 8 under through 12, and then he just kind of stalled out from there, and then that allowed Oberg to run him down and take the title. So that was definitely disappointing that because I think I had Oberg penciled in for this tournament for the Genesis at once it was announced that Torrey Pines was going to be there. And then I kind of got away from him because of the illness and all that. And then I just got sucked into Rory after winning, which was a huge mistake. Oberg wins the golf tournament. Rory flops on his face over the weekend. And so I do get behind the 8 ball a little bit in one and done, but it's still early days. So I'm not too worried about it. We'll bounce back. This week's one and done though. I do have a list of guys that I was looking at. Patrick Rogers is going to be popular to say the least, but I always used him here because I like the way he was with wide open fairways on easy courses, and he puts good on like that Poa past Palom type grass. So he would be a guy. I don't think I would pull the trigger, but like Akshay Bhatia, Sam Stevens, Bo Hostler, Keith Mitchell, maybe Taylor Moore. He's good on driver heavy, but he hasn't played here yet. I mean, you could shoot for Mav, that's for sure. He's definitely playing well enough to beat anybody in this field right now. So if he's got that confidence going, and it wasn't the fact that that he lost, that he blew the lead last week down the stretch. Then you have other guys, Jaeger is in the mix. Even Michael Kim, I wouldn't have be opposed to taking a shot on. This is a week to take a chance because it not only is it the off-field event, but it's one of the lower payouts too. I forget what the payout is, but it's not even 3 million. It's 2 million and something or something like that. It's significantly less than even the regular uh off the regular events are. But anyway, going by models, you can see the models across the way here. 70% distance, 30% pure off the tee. Those guys are so accurate. Cam Young, like that. Nikolai Hoegaard, obviously. And then there was a few others that I was going to round out. Obviously, CT Pan's one to look at. Kevin Yu, course fit. Aaron Rye, obviously, Aaron Rye could be very dangerous in this. And I think I mentioned Valimaki, but going off the model rankings, there you can see Kitayama is another guy. It's just he doesn't have the putter. He's got every single thing else you probably would ever want for this golf course except the putter. And probably just like he did at Bay Hill a couple years ago, if he somehow miraculously hits that putter, then you're dancing because the Mexico Open he played because he gained there you go he gained 5 strokes putting in the inaugural 2022 Mexico Open and almost won it. So that was the year he finished solo second to Rahm. So if he comes in and plays like that, Kitayama might be my one and done play this week because I don't know where else I would use that guy and try to and not worry about it too much. But this would be the one. He's 10-200, so he's liable to be a little more popular than I would like. This would be a week if you were playing one and done to try to find a diamond in the rough type guy, like a Taylor Moore would be significantly less owned. Uh, so I may try to do that as we go later on in the week and things get increasingly more, uh, stats wise and the word gets out more on who's where the chalk's landing. But this is DraftKings contest. We'll finish it out here, and obviously you can build pretty much anything you want. I wanted to double check, make sure there wasn't okay. So we're just going to 6K. Obviously, you wouldn't want 5K guys in this field. But then, I mean, people are going to just team jam in like all these, like try to get 4 9K guys in. I want to look down here. I mean, Knapp is still prepared to way too low priced. So he's going to be a guy that you're gonna start. You could probably start your lineup. I mean, and Hoygaard too cheap too. I think. I mean, you could leave money on the table this week. I'm already seeing it. There's my boy. Is that Carson Young? Carson Young is getting the price bump finally. He is normally a guy that does not get that kind of fuck. Carson Young is a guy that definitely doesn't crack the 7K range a whole lot in full, especially in full field events. Even in this event, which is a weaker field event, 7,700. That's interesting. I will definitely be going down through. I mean, he's just 1,000 difference between this Jesper Svensson, who's done absolutely jack shit on the PGA Tour. I mean, he just came in from Nedbank. This is like his first, although he did T10 at Sony. Uh, he's missed the cut twice in a T63. I mean, maybe he's an up and comer, but he hasn't done anything on the PGA Tour. And Carson Young has been around. I mean, he's he misses cuts too, but he was T2 last year. He played practically the entire PGA Tour for the last 2 years. So anyway, sometimes these algorithms don't make any sense. But you can see Pottinger is down here if you wanted to play him. Ventura, Hoey is another guy people like to play. Toasty, I've mentioned. Matty Schmid has been mentioned. McCarty. I mean, you can find Hayden Springer. Ben Coles, there's Valimaki. Just for shit's sakes, we'll put Mackie in. But you can easily go, Kitayama Hoygaard or Kitayama Stevens. It's going to be two of these guys, and you probably almost get three. But I don't like going too deep on these higher up guys because you may not need to. Because what's the largest difference between a Sam Stevens and uh down here, like Thor Bjornsson and Sam Stevens. Sam Stevens has probably shown a little bit more lately, but as far as, just being a general good PGA player, Thor Bjornsson has got just as many good results out there, except a couple of missed cuts here. But he's got T8. I mean, he's got good results. He could play just as good as anybody else on the card here. So that's going to do it for me. I was a little all over the place on this one, but I hope you got the gist of what I'm trying to say. You don't have to go 100% bombers, but I'd say a nice little 70-30 split would be good. You want guys like Carson Young and Aaron Rye and those real accuracy guys in your bag that are going to have lots of opportunities to make birdies, that'll putt well on past Palom, and that's how you're going to get it done. So don't forget to subscribe and like. Best of luck this week. Thanks for watching. We'll see you.